1st, the day we talk about resolutions. You know who's all about resolutions? State legislature. Resolutions and bills. Now, bills, that's where the real business gets done. Starting Friday, we know that the Democrats who will control the entire Capitol are likely to approve red flag gun laws and supervised injection sites. Our Anusha Roy was curious what else Democrats and Republicans who are in the minority plan to do this session. Republicans did not want to discuss details today, so Anusha talks with the people who actually have the power to pass things.
Day one, expect a heavy hitter.
And I'm really excited to be introducing a bill that will create a state-backed insurance option for people to purchase health insurance.
The idea of an optional state-run healthcare system is making a comeback after the last session, when the Republican Senate wouldn't pass a bill to study it.
You have a lot of different factors involved, a lot of different companies, a lot of different players. So by trying to get all of those people to the table and agreeing on something is the biggest challenge with this.
A theme seems to be second chances. You're also going to see a bill for paid family leave that would require employees and companies to put money into a social insurance program, so all Colorado workers would get paid time off for having a baby or long-term health problems.
We know that second chances are really important to make sure that people don't end up back in jail.
Which is why Democratic Representative Leslie Herod is introducing a bill to change job applications.
When you apply for a job, you have to check a box that says you have that prior conviction. That keeps folks from being able to speak one-on-one in an interview and say, you know, this happened in my past, but I'm ready to move forward and I'd love to work for you, and explain themselves. We want to ban the box here in Colorado so that on the interview application, you can't ask someone about prior convictions, but you can in the interview.
The first time this came up, some businesses weren't really thrilled with the idea. So what are Democrats in the legislature not going to do this session? Will a check and balance for Democrats or themselves?
Well, I think we have to balance some of the, I guess, desires of the Democratic caucus, because there's so many of us this year. We're going to have to balance that.
So the only Republican we heard from today was the Senate Minority Leader, Chris Holbert, who said he didn't want to talk about too many details before Friday when he's going to be laying out his priorities. He did, however, say that funding for roads, bridges, K-12 education and healthcare are all going to be top priorities. Pretty broad, but a little bit of an indication.
Some consensus issues there, so maybe they will get some of what they want. All right, Anusha, thank you. We're getting some feedback from a next viewer who does not like stories like that last one. Ken Yarcho wrote in last night to say that he takes offense when I say that this or that is likely to pass in our Democrat-controlled state legislature. Ken, my man, I'm just trying to give you an idea of what's likely to happen. I would be doing you a disservice if Anusha and I stood here and we talked about this bill or that, a bill that's certain to pass, and then we acted like it's some kind of mystery or toss-up. Ken, it would appear that you thought that I was rooting for these outcomes. That's not the case. What's going to happen is what's going to happen, whether you or I like it. So it's kind of like when a meteorologist tells you that it's going to snow tomorrow or that there's a good chance of tornadoes tomorrow. They're not rooting for the snow or rooting for the tornadoes. They're just telling you that's what's most likely to happen. That's the same thing as when we talk about legislation in what is now a single-party control state. A holdover from Prohibition in Colorado died at midnight. Full-strength beer is now in grocery stores and convenience stores after years of debate at the state capitol. Liquor stores lost their virtual monopoly on real beer, but it's not clear how many of them are going to end up downsizing or closing as a result of competition with the large grocery chains. We're told that beer sales make up about 40% of the business at Rex Liquors on South Broadway. The store manager there says on the first of the year, he thinks it's too early to worry.
We will see maybe 3 months, hopefully, and we will see it's the same or decline. As for now, we don't know yet, but hopefully it stays the same so we can stay in business.
Rex Liquors is about a half-mile away from the nearest grocery store, and that liquor store, like so many others, is hoping that loyal customers don't abandon them for the convenience of one-stop shopping. Several next viewers, Jerry Clayton and Peter Burrows among them, have rightly pointed out to us that the transition from 3-2 beer to the real stuff is not going to be a real shock depending on what people are drinking. And that's because the 3-2 designation for grocery store beers referred to alcohol by weight. It did not refer to alcohol by volume, and that's the common measurement for beer these days. My attempt to explain this to the next staff as just a home brewer and a beer geek left a lot of people puzzled, so we went out and found a real expert. Judd Bellstock with Dos Luces Brewery on Broadway in Denver. He's been in the business 17 years.
ABV, alcohol by volume, is different from alcohol by weight because alcohol actually weighs more than water. So when something has an alcohol by weight that's 3.2%, it actually has an alcohol by volume of 4%. In the beer industry, we more commonly identify alcohol by volume because that's what's easier for us to measure.
So bottom line, if you're looking at labels when you're making a purchase, the old grocery store 3.2 beer, that's the equivalent of what you'll see labeled as 4% beer. It's about the same as a lot of sessionable beers that Colorado craft breweries make. Most New Year's resolutions about alcohol involve less of it, at least for the month of January. But one Next viewer, who, full disclosure, was our colleague here years back, had a different beer-related resolution, one that calls for a conversation, perhaps over a cold one. Remember Ben McKee, used to be a reporter here, he tweeted, "The only New Year's resolution I'm making this year is to not buy full-strength beer from grocery stores. Gotta help keep the local guys in business, if you ask me." The legislative debate on this is over. Grocery stores won, the liquor stores and the craft breweries, they lost. Ben points out, now we're looking at just a choice for individual consumers to make on where to spend their dollars. I tend to think I'm with Ben. I'll continue to keep buying Colorado craft beer from the small businesses that have helped make our craft beer industry one of the best in America. Now, listen, that is nothing against grocery stores because they are full of food. And if you have noticed my increasing difficulty buttoning my jackets, I enjoy food. But I also like talking to expert beer buyers about small Colorado breweries that aren't likely to get stocked by corporate grocery chains. So what do you think? You know how to get in touch with us. Pull up a stool, grab a cold one or not, and convince me otherwise. Conversation's half the fun. Our next question comes from a viewer who goes by Mr. B on Twitter. Asks, why doesn't Denver have a live New Year's Eve show? That is a good question because, you know, larger cities like Chicago have local celebrations that are on TV, and there are smaller cities like Buffalo, New York that still have televised New Year's. So I'm told that 9 News used to do a televised New Year's Eve show, but it has been a while, as in like decades. So we went digging in the old 9 News basement tape archive, and we think we found what you're looking for. But it's on a tape format that we don't recognize. It is so obscure and so old we no longer have a machine in the building that can play it. We would have loved to show it to you, but we are left showing you the outside of the case of a New Year's Eve celebration. This was the one from 1999 into 2000. Kim Christensen told me she used to host these with Mark Kobrick, among others. As to why we don't have one today, well, these are expensive productions to put on, and my best guess, not knowing the answer from decades ago, is that the sponsorships dried up. Today marks the end of an era in Littleton. After 128 years, the Littleton Fire Rescue name has been retired. That department officially merged with South Metro Fire Rescue this morning. It appears to be amicable, at least between these guys. South Metro Fire Chief Bob Baker and Littleton Interim Fire Chief Jeff Tasker shared this hug at the end of an Assumption of Command ceremony. South Metro says all of Littleton's firefighters will retain their jobs. There will now be 4 firefighters in each fire truck instead of 3. First day of the new year, gyms are packed, so get out.
They feel the urge, and they show up on a day like today, which is kind of extra special for us.
They know what you think of this.
I'm an idiot, pretty much.
But do you know what they think of it?
Be the perfect memory. Do something you would never do. Just do one thing different.
And an update on a next favorite, a mixed martial arts heavyweight known as Cuddly Bear.
Triceps popping.
Fitness is everything.
I know, my biceps.
To Angela Marquez. She squeezes in a workout every day and always makes time for a gym pic.
Post at PR Fitness Studio,
which is posted to Instagram in no time.
You'll see a lot of workout pictures here.
She isn't showing off.
This was also my cancer anniversary.
She's sharing survival.
I also look at it as I'm alive, because that was 11 years ago that day.
The day Angela learned she had cervical cancer. Doctors removed lymph nodes in her pelvis to save her life.
I survived cancer. I beat cancer, and now I have this.
This is her new battle.
Yes, it is in my left leg.
The left leg is much bigger than the right.
One Olga Belskaya fights too.
It's an ongoing battle.
They both suffer from lymphedema.
It feels heavy.
A debilitating condition.
Oh my goodness.
That lasts a lifetime.
Lymphedema is the abnormal accumulation of protein in the tissues, so the area underneath the skin and above our muscles.
Angela and Olga are treated by Vicki Ralph, a woman who is dedicated to treatment and awareness.
I do about 45 minutes of stretching of the skin.
An occupational therapist at UC Health.
This is short stretch compression bandaging.
Some people are born with lymphedema, but for many, like Olga, the condition is triggered after lymph nodes are surgically removed to treat cancer.
You have kind of, if you will, a mechanical failure of that section of the body.
This chronic condition chips away at her sense of normalcy.
It's full of liquid and your shoes doesn't fit, your clothes doesn't fit, and you just don't want to deal with it anymore.
That's why Angela's Instagram feed,
The Instagram page is Funky Lymphedema.
has a deeper purpose.
That's my leg.
It informs, it inspires.
We call it the mini incline.
Those who search for answers.
I want to change the image of the pictures maybe that they see when they do Google lymphedema and feel that it's gloom and doom and negative.
We all want, our community to be a better place. And how do we do that? By informing the community, by being a part of the community, and by listening to the community.
Take a hike. A first day hike. That's what Colorado State Parks were calling it today. Encouraging people to start the new year off, quite literally, on the right foot.
This park sits in a really crowded suburban part of Denver, and yet you can come here and really kind of fill your heart and find your soul. Happy New Year. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us. My name's Steve Kennedy, and you'll hear him tinkling and twittering in the bushes here sometimes. I'm drawn to being outside. I feel like I remember more of who I really am when I'm in nature and where I belong. It's not a bad day to be out, is it?
We're raising a family that's in Colorado, and I just feel like we need to get out and enjoy what Colorado has to offer.
The hike was amazing because we saw bald eagles.
Folks, here comes another one.
Thought we would start the year right, and if we make a resolution to do 2 hikes a month, there's no better day than January 1st.
Several years ago, the governors across the country, a bunch of them got together and decided that they wanted to really put an emphasis and celebration on their state parks. And so all over the country today, actually, in state parks, there are first day hikes going on. We've been lucky to come and do this every first day, which has been cool.
What I'd say about today's hike was that it was fun, interesting, and it taught me some things I didn't know already.
My mission, I don't know, I imagine it's the park's mission, is one of appreciation and one of kinship, to help people remember this is our home. And we ought to be good stewards of it because it's what nourishes us and what nurtures us. Woohoo! All right. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Right on.
A stroll through Cherry Creek State Park in Aurora through the viewfinder of our photojournalist Tom Cole. There are 25 state parks in Colorado that hosted guided hikes today.
Happy New Year. A beautiful but brisk day for a hike, or perhaps you went skiing. Wonderful pictures coming in from New Year's celebrations across the state. This was where we started this morning. Our low at -5. Our high today, 12. Yes, 12 degrees. We should be in the low 40s, which is where we will be tomorrow. It is cold and clear in Denver tonight. We're already down to 3 above at the airport with a wind chill of -8. And we do expect that temperatures will come close to 0 again this evening. Our most recent storm is tracking south, high pressure building in, and with a wind shift out of the southwest, we're going to scour out some of that cold air. We have mostly sunny skies statewide tomorrow, and really a nice warming trend for us this week ahead of the next weather maker, which is moving on shore in the Pacific Northwest. So tonight, clear and cold, but not as cold as last night with our low at 4 and a wind chill of -9. Sunny and 42. The midweek warming trend will kick off in earnest with highs in the mid-50s for the end of the week, close to 60 come Saturday or Sunday. So a wonderful extended forecast for that first full week of the new year, and beautiful shot coming in from Marston Lake, Kyle.
Kathy, thank you. A mixed martial arts fighter from Thornton did not win the $1 million purse at Madison Square Garden yesterday. He does get to keep his nickname, Cuddly Bear, And Josh Copeland earned some serious respect for his toughness. He went 4 rounds against Felipe Lins. We met Copeland back in November. The guy called Cuddly Bear told us he went to college to be a youth minister, wasn't planning to be a professional fighter. He told us he's not fighting out of some pent-up aggression. He simply loves to compete. He's been the #1 ranked heavyweight in Colorado for about 4 years. For today's game of What Do You Say, we are headed north near the Wyoming state line. Paul and Ryan are both curious about the name of a 78,000-acre wilderness area. You see it there. It's about an hour-and-a-half northwest of Fort Collins. How do you pronounce it? We reached out to the people who work at Roosevelt National Forest and asked, what do you say?
There's a few things out in the forest that people mispronounce, and this is definitely one of them. It is the Raywall Wilderness, and it is a Native American term meaning wild place. There are 25 named lakes within that wilderness area, and they range in size from 5 acres to 39 acres. There's also, it's a high alpine area, so the wilderness ranges from a little over 8,000 foot elevation to about 13,000 feet elevation. It holds snow for a really long time, so if folks are interested in going up and backpacking, usually the snow's not really, starting to clear until July.
That's one that I would have gotten wrong. What other hard-to-say names in Colorado catch your ear or trip over your tongue? Can you come up with a common place name that you think a lot of people are mispronouncing? We'll settle it once and for all right here. Email your suggestions to next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. Temp this morning at Evergreen Lake was a balmy 10 degrees.
It was awesome. So warm in there, so warm. My toe is cold, just one toe though.
Did you hear about the hunt for 5 goats in Wheat Ridge? Of course they are goats we have previously profiled on Next. And the enormous Las Vegas-style hotel just built in Aurora has everything, except a dictionary apparently. That's next.
Okay, no problem. Everybody follow me.
Get ready for a gnarly ride. This dude rips.
I'm Jacques Houot. They call me Frenchy. I am 41 years old, each leg. Egal 82.
82 years old. Jacques keeps moving. Sure, he can ride, but his charisma is what got the attention of Carbondale filmmaker Michelle Smith.
Oh, I love Michelle. Too bad she's married.
5 Point Film Festival's Night of Stoke is the kind of evening you rock chacos instead of heels. Jacques,
the love of your life.
Michelle, and Jacques' new friend are in the house for a screening of Michelle's film, The French, a tale too big for one person to tell.
You meet somebody like that, and it's like, I'm not afraid to get old.
For that, I'm glad I motivate people to keep moving.
I know people don't always believe this, but I'm allowed to speak my mind on this show, and I'm allowed to showcase your thoughtful perspectives, even if the bosses don't agree with them. That really does happen here. That's the strength of Next. It's important to hear things that we disagree with because lo and behold, we might change our minds. We also want Next to be a reflection of you watching at home. You're smart, funny, and you're unapologetically honest, even when it gets you in trouble. And that's what we hope that the show is as well.
I identify as Panamanian and African American, but at the end of the day, I'm just human.
I identify as the Latina Asian.
I identify as Puerto Rican and Mexican.
I identify as a Chicana.
I identify as Mexican American.
I identify as Colombian American.
I identify myself as Honduran.
I identify as Mexican American.
And I identify as Salvadorian.
I identify as Colombian Palestinian.
I identify as Chicana.
At the end of the day.
But at the end of the day.
I am just human.
1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before her 18th birthday, and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before turning 18. Only 1 in 10 will tell. But today, thousands of children will enter a Children's Advocacy Center with the courage to talk about the unimaginable. Because one adult with courage was there. Are you the one with courage? To find a Children's Advocacy Center near you and to learn more, go to coloradocac.org/1.
Teddy, nighty, bong, bong, bong.
Join the party 5 nights a week on Channel 20.
Goats are useful animals, you know, eating weeds and such, but they're not great at following directions. That's what Amanda Weaver told us last August. She's the owner of Five Fridges Farm in Wheat Ridge, where 5 goats escaped Sunday night. Perhaps you've seen this on the TV news. Those 5 fugitives are the same goats that we featured last summer here on Next as they were paraded from one patch of weeds to another to clean up. Same group of goats is known for eating Christmas trees, so perhaps that's how they'll lure them in this time. If you see random goats wandering around Wheat Ridge, don't ask, do you think those are the goats? Those are the goats. Call Five Fridges Farm if you see them. It's a sign that spelling is hard even for the best in the hotel business. $800 million went into that Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Aurora. A few more dollars for a dictionary would have done them some good. It would have kept them off that Mountain Pass of theirs. A next viewer named Karen spent the night there with her husband Friday. No complaints about the accommodations, but Karen did have lots of fun taking pictures of all of the misspelled signs. Gaylord will work out the kinks. They'll print some new signs. Send us the ones you see to next@9news.com or use the hashtag HeyNext. Not sure if you noticed, but it was awful cold this morning. Up in Evergreen, about 10 degrees. Some people there thought it was the perfect temperature to go jump in a lake. Our Ann Herbst, not one of them. She just went to get video of the belly flops and the cannonballs.
She did it.
Wouldn't you rather be anywhere else than this on an icy New Year's Day?
By the fire?
Thank goodness you're documenting the occasion.
Wouldn't she rather be wrapped up in a nice warm blanket at home?
I'm actually here to shame my husband because he wouldn't come. So gosh darn it, I'm here and I'm jumping in with his hat on.
Wouldn't she rather find another way to get revenge?
Hey!
Wouldn't he rather be rocking those chacos on the beach?
My toe is cold, just one toe though.
What about that little kid? Wouldn't he rather be playing inside somewhere instead of jumping into Evergreen Lake when it's 10 degrees outside? There's gotta be a decent reason for this.
I'm an idiot, pretty much.
That works. But here's a better one.
But the kids are the one that benefit from them.
All the money raised at the plunge goes to Evergreen Parks and Rec, including to a program that helps kids with special needs get out and enjoy activities and the outdoors.
Because those smiles are genuine. They're from their hearts and their bellies. And
it is worth $1 million.
Wouldn't you rather make an impact on your community on the first day of 2019?
Because these crazy nuts talk me into it. Perfect memory. Do something you would never do. Just do one thing different.
She did.
Oh, and well done.
He did. They did.
8.7 on the belly flop.
For Next, this is Ann Herbst.
That was a beauty, ladies and gentlemen.
The 140 people who took that plunge today raised about $14,000 for Evergreen Parks and Rec, so good on them. When we return, breaking news. I think Broncos management is developing a sense of humor. And a bunch of you noticed a sort of wardrobe malfunction I'm having tonight. I still have no idea how you people spot this stuff. That's next.
Every day, I seek a positive
direction for my life.
Through my accomplishments.
And now, with help.
And support from my family and others I own.
I own my recovery from addiction and depression.
Join the Voices for Recovery. It's worth it.
For information on mental and substance use disorders, including prevention and treatment referral, call 720-435-0686. Brought to you by Advocates for Recovery.
I'm Kathy Sabin, telling Colorado's weather stories. 9 News everywhere.
Matchsticks, matchbox, matching tie and matching socks. You don't know why, but you're really special to match point, match game. You and I are not the same, but I can tell that you're really special to me. There's something I can give to make you laugh, to help you live. We're the perfect match, and you're really special to me. We're the perfect match, and you're really special to me.
Only those who have survived combat know what it's like to live with the memories.
but Freedom Service Dogs can help veterans struggling with emotional and physical disabilities. Because Freedom Service Dogs are all shelter rescues, your donation today may not only save a dog, but also a veteran desperate to reclaim what has been lost. Help change their lives now at freedomservicedogs.org.
Did you know that 1 in 3 women in the United States experience rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime? This could be your mother, sister, daughter, or best friend. Safe House Denver provides safe shelter and comprehensive services to adults, children, and youth experiencing domestic violence. Visit safehouse-denver.org to learn how to help someone you suspect is experiencing abuse, or to learn about volunteer opportunities, donations, and other ways you can get involved.
I used to never really talk, ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Last night we kicked off a segment we called Fun with Stock Photos, never knowing if we would again use this to poke fun at generic photos. But then the Denver Broncos came through again. Love that they used 2 balls side by side to illustrate their decision to fire head coach Vance Joseph yesterday. And after we joked about it, they tweeted this last night. Several media reports have already named possible candidates for our vacancy with a pile of balls. Well played, Broncos. Well played. Your feedback tonight is an attention to detail that just absolutely astonishes to me. Matt Malloy and also MK were among those who noticed that I failed to reset my watch after going to see some family on the East Coast. This is Grandpa's 1971 Bulova. He used it on the railroad. I'll reset it tonight. See you next time.